Welcome back to Where Rangers Walk. Is Varane now looking the main part at QPR? We're also debating Seller and who should start at Leeds. We've got Jawad, Lucas and Michael with us this week to preview the quickest and most comprehensive review of all things QPR on the internet. Welcome to Where Rangers Walk. Yes, welcome back. We're also talking about November fixtures and which player needs a rocket more than anyone else. Let's get straight into that, shall we then? Jawad, Varane, your man of the match?
Yeah, absolutely clear man of the match. One of the best midfield performances I've seen at QPR in quite a long time, actually. And I think what he showed is what we've lacked for a very, very long time in their physicality, someone who can get on the ball, can keep the ball moving. He didn't do anything spectacular at all, but everything he did well. And the Sunderland players couldn't get near him, really.
Welcome to the show, Lucas. What was your view of that Sunderland game? You should have taken all 3 points?
I think on another day we definitely take all 3 points. I think we were quite wasteful in front of goal yesterday. I think Salah did miss quite a few chances. I think one in like the 5th, 6th minute and another around the hour do spring to mind. Dunn also had a header straight at the keeper as well. If he puts that either side of him, then in theory that goes in. But I thought we played well. I'm just going to touch on what Jawad said. I thought Varane had another excellent game. I think he looked like an absolute Rolls Royce in midfield. Didn't exactly do anything out of the ordinary, but what was asked of him before the match, he did, and he did very, very well indeed. And I was incredibly impressed with Varane and Kieran Morgan as well. His first 90 minutes for us, 18 years old. He's come into the side and he looks like he's been part of the side for ages. He slotted right in. He slots in really, really nicely. And I thought he moved the ball about very well yesterday. Perhaps got a bit tired towards the end of the game, but obviously that can be worked on in training, especially with the forthcoming international break. I think for him, that's a perfect time for him to build up his fitness.
Okay. There were lots of negative comments still out there, Michael. So I found this one, which I wanted to get your view on. Kevin said, some of the comments on here, really, we have just held the top 2 teams to 0-0 draws in consecutive weeks with a long injury list. Get real. That is a decent return. Well done to the team. Andy also says, well done to Marty and his team today. We didn't sit back and played some lovely stuff in the first half. Sell looks a different player with both Varane and Marsden showing their skills. A big plus is also playing so well without JCS, who for me is pivotal. Are you on the camp negative and actually we're still in the bottom 3, or are you camp positive saying, actually, yeah, last 2 games we've done all right?
I mean, if we play like we did against Sunderland every week, we'd be fine. I think we found our midfield partnership. Varane, for me now, after that game, if he continues his form, is the first name on the team sheet. You look at previous players for QPR like Alejandro Forlan, Sean Derry, they didn't exactly do anything too exciting, but they did the basics exceptionally well. And I feel like that is something that we've been lacking for a long time. But yeah, I feel like there's not a lot to be negative about for that Sunderland game. Smith played well. He may have not statistically doesn't get all the assists, but he puts the ball in the box to be put away, and Seller obviously missed a chance earlier on in the game. So if we keep on playing the way we did, then I think we'll be fine.
Okay. It didn't stop the moaners coming out though, Jawad. Here's a couple. First of all, Gary says Varane definitely beginning to look like one of the first names on the team sheet, as we've already discussed. Oliver said the same. He said the main issue yesterday was that the players ahead of Varane left too many gaps and aren't quite there yet with the anticipation or making the runs for Chair Smith say to exploit, but we will get there. Is Oliver right?
Yeah, I think we're kind of focusing on the lack of a striker, but I think some of the other players need to step up a little bit now. I think Ilias Chair's had 4 or 5 games back in the team. He's basically used it as a pre-season. I think Madison yesterday had his best game, I would say, especially for the first hour. He got on the ball, used it really well, and I think now it's the case of trying to find a settled forward line. He keeps chopping and changing. 1 minute it's Smith, then it's Saito, then Dembele comes in. We had Frey starting, and now he's out injured. So there's been no kind of continuity. There's no relationships being built. And when I think of the attack we've had for the last few years, where you think of Chair and Willock, they developed a brilliant understanding over a period of time, and no one's done that yet. And I think part of that's down to injuries, which we've been quite unfortunate with. But I think we have to pin all our hopes that when we do get that settled forward line, we will be all right, because defensively they've improved massively. I thought Samfield had a really kind of steady game yesterday at left centre back, and I think Marty's almost stumbled on that as a replacement for Jake Clark-Salter now. A left-footed player in there is crucial, and I think he's kind of stumbled on the Varane and Morgan partnership, which for me has to be the peg going forward until Morgan needs that rest, maybe.
Okay. Cheers for that, Lucas. One more for you, if that's okay. Ian says nearly the whole of the second half and not one shot on target, playing 10 men for nearly 50 minutes and refused to bring in Collie. What a waste of time putting him in the squad. There were a few like that as well, saying, well, as good as the point was, actually, why don't we make more substitutions? What's your view on that one?
I think on that one, obviously, don't get me wrong, I was very happy to see Collie back in the squad, especially the positive manner in which he started the season. Obviously, I know there's been a bit of a rift in the hierarchy between him and Collie, although it's looking like the problems have seemed to simmer down, which obviously led to Collie's inclusion in the squad yesterday, which I was happy to see. Was it the right game to give Collie a nice bit of a run around? I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, I know that he did get an assist against West Brom on the first day of the season, and in pre-season against Spurs, I thought he was definitely one of our best players that day. But the thing is, though, I think with Collie, we should have loaned him in August. I definitely think we should have tried to sanction that to someone like lower mid-table League One, to like a Wickham, like we did with Eze. But I think it's a difficult one because it's hard to get right. Obviously, the rift that's been going on behind the scenes, and it's like Marty and Collie don't have a very good relationship, to be honest. But it was good to see him back in the team. But was he match fit to play? I'm not sure. But I guess we'll see what happens at Borough on Tuesday night, and then looking further ahead, Leeds, and then after the international break.
Okay. All right, then let's have a look then at the upcoming fixtures and leave Sunderland alone. Actually, before we do, any disputing with the red card, Michael?
No, it's definite red.
I think
orange. No?
I think it's one of the most certain red cards I've ever seen in the stadium, where everybody in the ground knew that it was going to be a red card. I don't think there can be any doubt. And fair play to him. He stayed on the pitch to make sure the player was all right. He seemed remorseful. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. In a way, I sort of feel sorry for the kid, because obviously, he didn't mean to make the tackle, and once the red card had been brandished, you did see him staying on the pitch, making sure Salah was all right before he went off. But it's a definite red card. If that's not a red card, then water isn't wet, to put it one way. But I think, 110% a red card. It starts with showing, and it was just frankly dangerous.
Yeah, I don't even think I've not seen even any one Sunderland fan disagree on that it wasn't a red. Okay, let's have a look at November then, because we're now into the fourth month of this Championship season, as you've already mentioned, Michael. Borough on Tuesday. We're recording this before the result of that, so we don't know how that's gone. Borough fans aren't looking forward to it, by the way, because Bristol City got their first away win against them. Coventry got their first away win against them. You haven't won at home, so they say things come in threes. So we can't preview that one, but we will talk about Leeds in a second, as that's your next weekend game. Then the international break, which, Jawad, do you think it comes at a good time for hoops?
I think with the injuries, I think it will come at a perfect time. I think Tuesday night is unbelievably important because I think if you can win there, you can go to Leeds with a bit of confidence, no pressure really, and then focus on those 3 games.
And then when we come back, Stoke at home, who aren't great away travellers, Cardiff, who are picking up, and Watford away. So some tricky fixtures there. Lucas.
Oh yeah, I think Borough, like you just mentioned, obviously they have Bristol City and Coventry's first away wins of the season against them. Now they come to us at home. We're still winless at home so far this season. Obviously, I don't think obviously the Championship is probably one of the hardest leagues in the world to predict. So I'm not going to say anything about that. But I think if we can keep up the standard of performances we've seen against Burnley and yesterday at the time of recording, then I do think that we can look to get a result against Borough, who I believe are currently 8th. So I think in a game like that, it would be good to take a point. But obviously, I think I'd love all 3. And then after that, Leeds, obviously Ellen Road, very, very difficult ground to go to. Again, I think if we can keep them at bay like we did yesterday and like we did against Burnley last weekend, then I think once again we can look to settle for a point or 3. But definitely the performances there, like I've said previously, we just need to start turning them chances into goals.
Okay. Let's talk about Leeds then, shall we? First of all, Michael, there's many Leeds fans that say the reason they're still in this division is because of you guys, because of your result against them last season. No one saw that result coming. I know me and Jawad didn't because we previewed it and then we were talking about a cricket score. But I mean, do you think the gap between Leeds and QPR has got bigger since that game last season?
Not really. I feel like last season we'd written ourselves off anyway. I feel like this season we've got more of a chance to have a little bit of confidence going into it. It depends how the game against Middlesbrough goes. I feel like if we can build up our confidence going into the Leeds game, then I feel like anything's possible.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it won't be as tough as last year.
All right. Cheers, Michael. This was a starting 11 against Sunderland then. So we don't know what's going to happen against Borough yet, so we can't do that. But we can pick our 11 to start at Ellen Road. Jawad, starting with you. Does he just stick with this 11?
I think Ashby's going to be out. He looked like he picked up quite a bad injury yesterday, to be honest. Which means we'll be playing our 3rd choice right back at left back, which is how bad the injury crisis is. Because if Powell's fit, he plays there. I think Colback's played at left back before. He's out. So I think left back's going to be an issue definitely for the next couple of games. But ahead of that, Saito is one that I would probably bring in on Tuesday night. I think he's done more than enough in the last few games to earn a start. Probably over Smith, who again done nothing wrong, gets quite a lot of unfair criticism. But I think they're the changes that I would make, I would say.
Okay.
Unless other players come back fit.
Yeah. Lucas, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the left back one is definitely an extremely difficult one because I thought Ashby did well there on Saturday until he went off. Unfortunately, hopefully he's not for too long because we haven't exactly got that much choice as the left back department goes. I think the obvious choice at the moment would be Santos at left back, but because I thought he did all right there yesterday. But I do think one name which has not been getting mentioned so far, and I have seen him at left back, Daniel Benny. I know he came on against Derby away at left back. I was there. I thought he had a good performance. So I'd like to see him either get a run at left back or Santos. And obviously once Colback's fit again, which there's not a definitive timeline for Colback's return to match fitness, but if he's fit before Powell, I definitely think we should go with Colback there until Powell's fit again and until January comes when we can start getting a look into the left back market. But I think it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see who starts.
I think not having a left back in the second half yesterday hindered us massively because it narrowed the pitch with Ilias playing on the left hand side, a right foot at left back. Nothing went down the outside of them, and it kind of made it a little bit easier. So I think anyone who's left footed is in a good position. You could play Clark Salter there if he's fit, maybe, and keep field at centre back, but it's an issue.
I do think it depends as well if we play the same formation. Because Sato played really well at left wing back a week back, and I'd be happy to see him play there again. I felt like he was our man of the match when he played in that position. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting. Interesting to see what we do.
You must have been a bit worried when you heard Clark Salter was his groin. He was out for calf. Right. Yeah, it makes such a difference. It's made such a difference to your defence, hasn't he, in the last couple of games, crikey.
I think it was a calf injury last season that kept him out, or the year before that kept him out for quite a long period of time. So they're obviously being super cautious with it. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Let us know your team for Leeds. Drop in there. Good luck against Leeds. You're going to probably need it, but we're all behind you. This week, of course, it's Bonfire Night, so we are in honour of that. We're asking all our teams which one player needs the biggest rocket of their backside to get this season going, who has not lit up this season as you might have expected. There's quite a few candidates for this one, but Jawad, who would it be for you?
Yeah, it might be a bit harsh, but I think we need to see a bit more from Ilias Chair now. I think he's had the 4 or 5 games to get back into it. I think he missed that chance against Portsmouth, which, looking back, was absolutely crucial in that game. I think he needs a goal. I think as soon as he gets a goal or an assist, even, I think we'll see him flying, and he is probably our most important player.
Okay, Michael.
I have to agree with Chair. I do think as well Anderson. I feel like he was our best player on the tail end of last season, and this season he looks a shadow of the player he was. But yeah, Chair, like Jared said, he needs a goal, and once he's got that, I think we're laughing.
Okay, and Lucas.
I think I'm going to go with Chair as well, because obviously when he first came back into the side against Hull, obviously there's not exactly much he could have done as the game was pretty dead by then. We was 3-1 down by that point. Same thing he said about Derby. The damage had already been done by the time he got on the pitch, and obviously with him being out for that period of time, I wouldn't have expected much from him, to be realistic. But Portsmouth, obviously, he missed that massive chance, and the thing is, for something like that, it's just something you don't do when you're 1-1 with half an hour in. It's something you do at like 4 or 5-0 up with 3 minutes to go, not half an hour in. But I think it's got to be Chair, with an honourable mention going to Salah, as I feel like he just hasn't really kicked on so far this season. Obviously, he's had a few chances. I think Covent, Burnley, he looked anonymous as well. So I think Chair with an honourable mention to Salah for me.
Okay. What about you? Have they missed anybody? Drop it into the comments below if they have. And don't forget, do drop us a like and a subscribe as well. We know there's lots of other QPR content you can listen to, but we are very proud that this is, now only nearly 18 months old, and we're still going strong. So thank you very much for your support. Enjoy your game against Borough, you lot, and enjoy your trip to Leeds. And we'll catch you next Sunday to review all of that ahead of the international break. Have a great week.